Hi, everybody. What if your anxiety is not in your head? We have found anxiety, that's one of the last places it comes from when you really truly look from a traditional versus functional medicine standpoint. We've labeled anxiety as being a neurotransmitter problem, as being primarily in your brain. While there's some component there, it turns out there's so much more, whether it is your gut, which has a deep connection to your brain, whether it's your hormones, whether it's environmental toxins, and many, many more, including what you're eating. Welcome. I'm Dr. Lisa Koche. I am a triple board certified functional medicine doc, and I have seen patients finally get relief, the relief they've been searching for, when they look for the root cause versus slapping a drug or a supplement at their symptoms. So it turns out that there's really many deep causes for what can bring your nervous system out of balance and put you into an anxiety type of scenario. The first one, very common for women, has to do with hormonal imbalances, and I see that a lot. We explore this. I really want you to take some notes, see what fits right for you, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to give you just my top 3 choices for what to try right away if you're suffering from anxiety. So talking about hormones, for females, it depends if you're postmenopausal, premenopausal, if you're on the pill, if you've been on hormones. So in short, just getting empowered, know where your numbers are. So if you are a male suffering with anxiety, you want to make sure you're checking your testosterone, your estrogen levels, DHEA, and get an idea if you're where you're at. If you're a female, you want to look at all your hormones, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. And you want to be careful if you're a cycling female to do that in the second half of your cycle. If you're menopausal, it can be anytime. If you are on the pill, that can be a cause in and of itself for anxiety, but it's not worth testing your hormones at all. They will not be accurate. So that would be the first category. And if you see, so I've had men with anxiety, we get them on a good balanced either testosterone precursor, or if they require testosterone, and their mood really evens out, that along with a lot of other things like drive to do anything. People put testosterone in men as being tied more to erections and sex drive, where it's also motivation. It's not just sex drive, it's motivation for life. It's that vibrance, it's that get up and go. Same thing for women to a certain degree. So what I'll see a lot in women with anxiety is actually low progesterone. Progesterone's the more calming hormone. So anxiety may get worse the week or 2 prior to your period. It can go in a different fluctuating state. And I find if I get that progesterone level evened out, whether it's with progesterone or progesterone support like chasteberry, which is an herb, that the anxiety gets better. Sometimes it is the synthetic progestin that we see in the pill. And a lot of my patients, whether it is birth control with a pill, an IUD with progestin in it, that can be the root cause of their anxiety. And unfortunately, there's not a great natural birth control. So we have to do the rhythm method, condoms, get creative. And then the anxiety gets a lot better. So that's a hormonal category. When it comes to your gut, if you are somebody who feels anxious a lot and you're hyper-focused on that symptom, which I understand because it can be super debilitating to feel that underlying anxious feeling. I'll hear this a lot. Oh, doc, by the way, every time I eat, I bloat. Or when I eat this particular food, I have diarrhea, or I tend to be constipated. That can be a sign that there is leaky gut or dysbiosis or other things going on, SIBO, things going on in the gut. And remember, we have this glymphatic relationship between the brain and the gut. And a lot of how the brain drains is dependent on the health of your gut. So whether it's been lots of antibiotics, think back. If you had the anxiety, did you have a bunch of antibiotics before this cranked up? Did you go on a binge and eat a bunch of sugar or eat things you don't usually eat? Maybe your gut, which was before relatively stable, is now acting up again. And it's pretty easy to get that back under control. You may want to do some testing again or add in the supplement protocols that we have for what I call the gut bundle. And sometimes that alone will dramatically help people's anxiety. Because remember, 90% or more of your serotonin is actually made in your gut, let alone the fact that the toxins need to drain and they rely on that gut-brain relationship. And then the third is your nutrition. So a lot of times we're so disconnected. We're running, we're compensating, we're overgiving that we think of ourselves last, and we may grab food on the go. We may not realize sometimes it's eating junk because we're stressed, then we eat junk, then we get stressed because it's a cycle. But sometimes it's just under eating. You're on a diet, you're trying to cut calories, you're exercising a lot. This sometimes over fasting in women, especially who are maybe nutrient depleted, can trigger anxiety. Sometimes there's just specific nutrients that are missing. So depending on if you get enough protein, you need amino acids to make your neurotransmitters, which is why there's such a big push for protein. And women probably need between 80 and 100 grams minimum, men up to 150 as a minimum, I think. And depending on how active you are, you're going to need more. So finding that clean protein to get up to that number can be difficult. Do the best you can. And just getting a wide variety of foods, really ideally from the land, fruits and vegetables, clean meats and fishes, other types of protein that is coming from a nice clean source. And the top nutrients that we see missing, magnesium, B vitamins, those are really important for you to add in, along with some omega-3s, which most people are imbalanced in their omegas. You can actually test those levels and get that balanced out, and that can help your mood immensely. Well, thank you for listening to these 3 tips. I hope that if you guys are struggling with anxiety, you go a little deeper, you work on that with either a functional doc or reach out to us. And if I had to leave you with my promise, the 3 anxiety fighting tips that I live by, they would be some core things like, number 1, every time you get triggered, pause and say, what a gift, because all these triggers, we get so sucked up in them, are usually the universe just trying to have us tap in to what aspects of ourselves need to be worked on. So just pause. That's tip number 1. Pause instead of reacting. The reaction keeps us going. Pause. Number 2, add some of the core nutrients. My favorites, magnesium. You guys need it. If you get diarrhea, back it off. Omegas, get them tested. Just that with some good methylated B vitamins, and dramatic improvements happen, especially if you're on meds. Most medications will deplete those. Throw those in the mix and you will feel better with your mood. Last tip would be connect to nature, get out, put your feet in the earth. It is almost immediate. You can even ask the trees, the grass, the earth to take some of the things that you're anxious about. Just clear it, clear your field. Ask nature to assist, and then look to some devices to stimulate either directly or indirectly your vagus tone. That's the one that helps you calm down out of fight or flight. And there's a lot of new devices that I really love. So there'll be more on that later. And I hope this helps. I hope you found it helpful, and we will see you guys in the next video.